Hi. Hola, hola. Okay, today was a good thrift store day. Again, look, this red dress, it had a bunch of panels, so it's like little triangles of fabric, but this is the perfect size for a journal. At the bottom and the top, you can do tag art. So I'm making a little booklet tag that I can hang on my tree that is a memorial to my husband. But I covered 2 tags with the satin. So it'll just be like a little Christmas memory book that we can hang on the tree. And every time we do the ornaments, it's hanging on the tree. And it reminds us of him. He loved Christmas. Like I told you guys before, he didn't really celebrate Christmas per se and Santa Claus. It was really more about the 3 wise men. But he got with the Santa program really quickly because we had littles. So I don't know if you guys have ever seen this. This stuff is amazing. And they have it. This is reproduction, but if you can get a hold of the vintage one, it's amazing, especially the silver because it tarnishes. Okay, so this is the product. It's darkener for brass, bronze, and copper. And it will antique any metal that you have and turn it dark. Now, I get this from my friend Nancy at Gilding the Lily. I think you can order it online. It's called Jack's Darkener. But I will put a link to Gilding the Lily. Her shop is amazing. If you want beautiful beads, that's where I get most of my beads. But she carries ephemera. She carries vintage millinery, flowers and ribbons. She's got French ribbons. She's got metallic ribbons. I mean, she's close to Disneyland in Southern California. So if you ever have the opportunity in Southern California, go by and see her. Anyway, let me show you how cool this stuff is. So you're supposed to use this on in a ratio with water. So I'm just going to put a little teeny bit with a teeny bit of my drinking water here. You can use it full strength, but it can be too potent sometimes. Okay, now Steph, don't make a liar out of me, because I always use this and it works great for my jewelry. Oh, there we go. It's going now. So I don't know if you can see it. See how it kind of darkens? And it looks like old, you're supposed to rinse this, but it looks like old brass or bronze or copper or whatever. See how it's turning really brown? Okay, this will do, you can put any kind of shiny metal in here and it'll do it. Brooches, any kind of new jewelry that you have that you want to look old. This stuff is the bomb, man. I love this stuff. Put a little lid on it so I can save it for later. You don't have to dump it out. You can save it. I usually keep it in a Tupperware, but I have these cool little sealable jars. And my husband brought some samples, product samples home. He used to sell food ingredients. And I like those little things. But look at that. From that to that. If you get it too dark, you can always just polish it up. See? You can shine it up and it wipes some of the dark off and makes it a little more shiny. But look at that. See how it's all aged now? Okay, you know what else you can do? I've been telling everybody about this and I never showed anybody. Paper clips. Safety pin. Same thing. Even though they're stainless, look at that. Look at those paper clips. For all of you people that use your alcohol inks to do this, this is so much faster. It's so much easier. The only problem is if you want this in another country, you're going to have a hard time because it's considered, hazardous waste when you ship it. But I know Nancy has some ways of shipping it because she does mail it out to people. But I don't know about internationally. So give her a call or email her and ask her. But look at that. Look at that paper clip. And that These have some kind of what are these thingies? I want to say clothespin, safety pin. Has some kind of coating on it, but look, even it's turning black. Look at that. So now it looks like a really old safety pin. And just a minute ago, it was brand new in my bucket. So I'm just gonna scotch tape this to the back. And then just wrap it around. I kind of like it how it looks like a little, bound heart. I love to do poetry, refrigerator magnet poetry. My husband and I used to write poems to each other all the time on the refrigerator, and then we would photograph them. So I think this is just kind of cool, and it's a tribute to him, so that it's kind of like refrigerator magnet poetry. So I have to, this one is a little long, so I'm going to try to make it fit a little better. So it says, I don't know if you can read it, with unequivocal gratitude, nothing but fantastic and wonderful would be remembered. Muchas gracias. Because that is true. We all have our little things about our spouses that bug us, things we wish we could change, those little things that if you've been married for a long time, whenever your spouse does it, you kind of just roll your eyes and go, oh God, I can't believe you're doing it again. And, my husband and I had those things too, but let me tell you, when he died, he took all those things with him. And I would give anything now to hear his cheesy dad jokes, have him grab me and whirl me around the kitchen again and dance and sing his crazy songs that only he knew the words to. So, sorry guys. I have a lot of gratitude for the things that I had with him. And it's really hard. The holidays are hard because I'm really missing him and missing all the special things about him. So I'm going to glue this from the bottom up. I need my scissors, my little tweezers. If you are somebody who has a significant other, you have a special somebody in your life that kind of annoys you or does things that they've done forever and everybody just goes, oh God, and kind of groans. Savor that. Remember it. Take videos of them doing it, because one day they'll be gone and you'll wish. I wish I had videos of my husband and I dancing in the kitchen. I wish I had video of him singing to me his silly songs, or galloping up to me with his pretend horse. He used to always do this. He'd come into the house, check on me, and he'd gallop, like he was riding a horse. And he'd get to where I was, and he'd go, and have the horse rear up, and then he would say, hola, princesa, do you come frequently here? He said that to me when we first met as a joke, and I cracked up because he said it backwards. He was trying to say, do you come here often? But he said it wrong. And, hang on. So he said it wrong, of course, and I started laughing, and he's like, what? Why are you laughing? What did I say? I said, do you come frequently here? I said, the phrase is, do you come here often? He goes, well, whatever, I'm Spanish. If they say things backwards. He used to always do that. It's Spanglish things up or say them, in reverse order. Like, he never could get it right. We moved a lot of times. We moved like 14 times during our marriage. And in a 15-year marriage, and some of those were a few times a year. But anyway, every time, he never could get it right. The tape gun for packing the boxes, it was always and forever called a gun tape. Where's the gun tape? And I was like, it's called a tape gun, honey. Okay, but where is the freaking thing? It's like, so there was little, you know, we called them, after a while, we just called them his Pasqualisms, because they were things that were, they were phrases and things that were very uniquely him, that nobody else said. And we used to always just crack up because he was like a big kid. I have a picture of him and my son walking at the Santa Cruz Beach boardwalk, and they're talking. My son's looking over at him, and my husband has his Disneyland hoodie on, you know, the zip up Mickey Mouse hoodie. And he's got the hat on his head, but the sweater's not on his body. He's just got the hat on his head like a little kid wearing it like a cape. And my son's looking at him, and they're both laughing. I love that photo. So he was like, I loved his childlike humor and his always his childish sense of wonder at the world. You know, he's like, okay, an adventure. He was always really excited to do anything. He was always down for whatever. We're gonna do that? Okay. Okay. So I found what I need. Brown paper bag. It's going to go in between these. So I'm doing the Florentine or Italian paper motif because my husband and I, our last trip was a trip to Italy for our 15th wedding anniversary last October. So forever and ever, I will think of him when I go to Italy, because he introduced me to Italy. He spoke fluent Italian, so he was very fun to go with. 2 foreign countries, because he spoke. He always joked, said, you know, I speak Spanish, Italian, Catalan, German, French, and a little bit of English sometimes. So he did speak beautiful English. He had a very soft accent. It wasn't a real thick accent. And I just thought it was so cool that he spoke so many languages. I mean, to me, that was a real turn on. I was like, hey, it was like having a different lover from a different country every day. I was like, okay, today talk to me in French. And he would, you know, it was so cute. It was very sexy that he spoke so many different languages. And I used to always joke and say, it was like having a different lover every day, because he would speak to me in different languages. And I was like, okay, and don't just talk to me in food words, because after a while I understood enough that if you tried to talk to me in food words, I knew, and that it was food words. Don't be telling me no food words. Don't read me menus and stuff. I want real words, real phrases, real, you loverly talk. He's like, oh God, I got to get a dictionary and practice on that, because my business Italian and my business French doesn't include loverly talk. So he got some books, some dictionaries. He read up on romantic things to say to me in other languages, which, bless his heart, was so sweet. All right, so I'm going to glue these down and then accordion fold them. Okay, I don't even know what I'm doing, you guys. I'm just kind of winging it. I know what I want it to look like in the end. Let's see if my vision can be executed to actually look the way I'm envisioning it. Because, you know, you saw what happened to me with the card the other day. I made a bunch of mistakes over and over and over. And I just, yeah, you just keep on going. You just wing it, right? And eventually it comes out to be, like I said, either something resembling what you wanted it to be, or a flopportunity. You know, could be either one. My daughter was trying to think of a gift wrap that she could use every year for the baby for Santa. And I said, do brown paper packages and tie them with string. You know, if it's only going to be a couple presents from Santa and all the rest are going to be from you, then just do that. Because that's something that you can always find. You don't have to, like, buy a bunch of the same paper. She wants to wrap his stuff in the same paper every year because she figured that out by seeing the paper was the same, Mommy's paper and Santa's paper. So she says she's not doing that with her kid. She's not making that mistake. It's like, okay, well, more power to you, because, you know, we all have these ideas of how we think we're going to do things, but then you have a kid and it doesn't always turn out that way. So good luck to you. Because, you know, I mean, when I was little, I noticed that Santa's paper and my mom's paper was the same paper, but I didn't, I just noticed it. I said, hey, Mommy, Santa has the same paper as you. And she goes, yeah, look at that. And that was it. You know, it was no big deal. But, you know, my daughter was a smart little cookie, and she was very logical. We used to call her Literal K. One time she was asking him, do they have chicken nuggets in Spain? She was always asking him, what do they have? Because in Spain, and what don't they have? And he said, yeah, but they have eyeballs and lips in them. She goes, well, now I know you're lying because chickens don't have lips. So, he used to love to pull her leg because he would always say stuff like that to him, and he would just crack up. This one time we were watching The Great Mouse Detective, and there's this one part in the movie where the mice are tied to the railroad tracks, you know, like in the quintessential, you know, drama scene where the train's coming and they're going to get run over, and they're like, oh my gosh, this is terrible. What's going to happen to us? What are we going to do? And she's watching the show and she goes, chew through the ropes. You're mice. You can eat holes in walls. You can chew through the ropes. Come on, guys. That's so funny. So my husband started teasing her and saying, if you were a cartoon character, you'd be Literal K. Or no, a superhero. If you were a superhero, you'd be Literal K. Because she just used to always do that. It was so funny. I appreciate y'all bearing with me. And let me have my little moments. I try not to, you know, really boob out and start blubbering. Because, well, you know, nobody wants to watch that. I don't want people to not watch my channel because it's like, oh my God, it's that woman that talks about her dead husband and cries all the time while she's doing art. That's not the point of this channel. And I could just see my husband laughing, saying, that would have been words that my husband would have said right there. So I'm trying to find ways to have humor about things and to, you know, but also I know that oftentimes, you know, the words that I share about my grief also help other people. So I'm going to continue to share and talk about him as long as I need to, till I don't feel like I have a hole in the middle of my heart and my chest anymore. And that may be a long time. I don't know. Because when you find somebody, well, you might want to go back and watch my very first video where I talk about intro to grief journaling and my grief journaling videos, where I talk more about my husband's death and how he died, and etc. I'm not going to go into that here, but it'll just help you understand a little bit more about what I'm about. But the goal was to start talking about grief here on my channel, but I found that I was just too sad all the time, and it was really making it hard for me. So I find that reminiscing and telling fun stories about him is more productive and more a little easier on my heart. So I do have to get back to my grief journaling. I want to finish it. I've got a lot of ideas. What I've been doing is just typing them up on the computer as I think of them, and then going back and writing them down later, you know, or creating the journal page for it later. But at least I have the words, because I'm starting to remember random things that I had forgotten. And every one of those memories is like, for those Harry Potter fans, you know, the pensive, when they take the memories out of your brain and they put them in the pensive bowl and you can look at them. Each one of them is like that for me. It's like a vivid walk you know, with him in that moment. And most times it's really great. Sometimes it's very painful, but most times it's great. And I'm so blessed that I have so many great memories. I have a friend, her boyfriend, and she doesn't even have a picture of the two of them together. Nothing, you know. She didn't have a picture of him. His family had to give her the picture. And, you know, bless her heart. She's just, you know, we're all just so consumed with the grief. And having those memories has been really comforting. Sometimes it's hard when they pop up on my Facebook feed all the time, you know, but I post them anyway because I like looking at them. I like seeing them. I like remembering them. In the process of remembering them, I am able to, you know, relive the moment a little bit, kind of go back to when it was happening, and sometimes I laugh and sometimes I cry, and sometimes I do both. Sometimes I laugh till I cry, or I cry till I laugh, and, you know, I was getting messages from him when he first passed, you know, little, you know, hummingbirds or butterflies and things would come to visit me. But I haven't seen that as much. But I also haven't been out in nature very much. That was in the summertime when they were much more prevalent. So maybe there are other nature signals that he's sending me, and I'm just not outside to see them. So I have to be more... I do get messages from him, funny enough, on the radio. We both loved music. And so he sends me... You know, I'll be thinking about him, a specific thing, and I swear an answer comes to me in the form of a song. Like he's right there beside me talking to me, but the answer is all the words in that song is exactly what I need to hear. I call it the radio game. My mom used to do it a lot, and it's a really fun way to connect with spirit or with maybe somebody that you've lost and are trying to reach or contact. And I know some people say, well, you know, my loved one doesn't come to me. I don't hear them. I don't see them. I don't feel them. Nothing. And that may be true. You know, that does happen. Some people don't. But I think in the quiet moments when you can just really, you know, be alone with your thoughts of that person, a lot of times it'll come to you. You'll even have a thought that comes to your brain that, you know, it feels like it's your thought, but you know in your heart and in your gut that those words are the words of your person. Like my husband was saying today, something about something that he used to always say and that we used to always laugh about. And it was funny because I was thinking about it, and then the song came on, and it was a song that he used to always reference and sing to me whenever we talked about that thing. And I got chills on my arms, and it was like, oh my God, he's here with me. So, you know, then I just have a little conversation, just tell him I miss you, I love you, and I know you're watching out for us. And just, you know, protect us all, keep us safe from COVID, and I hope you're well wherever you are, you know, because, you know, otherwise, what else do you do? You know, sit around and cry all day, you know, and I've certainly done my fair share of that over the last 8 months. So, trying to laugh and have fun. And I told this story to some of my pen pals, but I don't think I've told it on here. So I'm going to tell it because it's a really funny story and it'll get me through the end of this project. We were in Italy the first time when we got married in 2004, and we had been in Spain for 2 weeks, and then we went to Italy for I think 10 or 11 days on a trip. It was a Spanish tour that we booked, and it was all Spanish speaking people and some Portuguese people on there, but nobody spoke English on the thing. And there was me and a couple from Texas that spoke English. That was it. And they kind of coupled up with his brother who was from Costa Rica, and they all spoke Spanish together. And my Spanish wasn't as good then 15 years ago as it is now, or at least my comprehension. So anyway, after 2 weeks in Spain eating unfamiliar food, was only my second trip to Spain, And then, you know, like 5 days in Italy, I was feeling really sick. And this bus that we're on did not have a bathroom, right? So I needed to go to the bathroom. And I was like, I was terrified to take a laxative because I'm like, oh my God, if we're on that bus and we're like on a 4-hour bus ride to the next city for the tour and that laxative kicks in, I am screwed. So I was like, okay, what can I do to help my situation here? And then I finally thought, okay, well, I'll just do an enema, which is not the ideal thing, but okay. So I say, honey, he speaks Italian, right? Honey, can you go down to the drugstore for me and get me an enema? I'll just do that and be over and done with really quick and then get back on the bus and then I don't have to worry and I'll feel better. He's like, okay. So he goes, he's gone a long time and the drugstore is next door to the hotel. Okay. So he didn't have far to walk. And he's gone. I'm starting to think, okay, what happened? Why has he gone so long? He comes back. Now, my husband was in sales. The man did not have a shy bone in his body. He could talk to anybody about anything, anytime, anywhere. He comes in holding this little white bag. He's like, that was the most embarrassing thing I've ever had to do in my life. I'm like, what? He goes, oh my God. He goes, okay, I did not know the word for enema in Italian. And so I'm telling the lady in the drugstore. He goes, and of course, it has to be a woman drugstore person. He says, and so I'm telling her, okay, well, I need this thing. It has water that goes up inside. And she's like, a douche. And he's like, no, it's like a tampon. No. And so then these old ladies waiting for their drugs, right? And you can't just go help yourself if you've never been to Europe. You can't just go help yourself like we do here at CVS or Rite Aid. You know, you have to tell the druggist what you want and they get it for you. There's no over-the-counter, you know, service. So he's getting more and more embarrassed the longer this is going on. So then the old ladies that are there, they'd start chiming in and they're trying to help him figure out. And they're recommending suppositories, everything that you could put up inside of somebody, they're recommending it, right? And he's like, no, it's not that. No, it's not that. No, it's not that. And finally he looks at the lady, he's just mortified. And he says, I'm so sorry. He says, I know the word in Spanish, but I just don't know the word in Italian. I only know business Italian. And she says, well, what's the word in Spanish? Because maybe it's similar, because a lot of Spanish and Italian words are similar. And he was so nervous, he wasn't thinking about it, right? And he goes, well, enema. And she goes, sí, enema. And then come to find out it's a Latin word. So it's the same exact word in Spanish as it is in Italian. So he went through all that for nothing, because if he had thought about it and all his medical training, he would have realized that it was a Latin-based word and that it probably was the same word in Italian. So anyway, he comes back and he's like, that was so embarrassing. I was standing there and I got these 5 little old nanas and the lady in the drugstore. And then this man comes in and they're all trying to help me figure out what it is that I need. And I'm getting more and more embarrassed. And the more I'm trying to explain with hand gestures, no, it says a thing you put up inside, it has water. And he's telling me the story and he's still there like this with the bag. As he's telling the story and he's gesturing with his hands and telling me how, you know, mortified he was. And I just start giggling and then I start laughing. Then I lay down on the bed and I'm howling. I can't even catch my breath. I'm laughing so hard. And he's standing there. And as he's standing there watching me start to laugh, he starts to smile and then he starts to giggle and then he starts to chuckle. And he's like, all right, this is the last time. Never, ever again. Next time you die or explode, whatever, but I'm not doing it again. I said, yeah, but you know the name now. So every once in a while we would be, I don't know, just randomly somewhere. And we would look at each other and I would start giggling. He goes, are you thinking about the enema story in Italy? And I'd start laughing and he goes, oh my God. And then he'd laugh about it. So he ended up thinking it was very funny too. In the moment, he did not think it was funny, but in the end, he thought it was hilarious. So that's the kind of sense of humor my honey had. He was just so funny. So, all right. So I'm going to put some kind of a tie on this, and I don't know what I'm going to use. I have some elastic gold ties in a tag box I'm going to find. And I'll punch a little hole here and in the last one for the tag ties. I don't think I'm going to put them in the middle, but then I can put like small photos, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. And I can put, you know, more on the back there if I want to. Or I can glue this shut and have it be a little booklet like that. Whichever I want to do. Okay. So that's that one. I will make up another one similar to this. It'll have the tags. It'll have the red satin and everything. And it'll probably have a little, you know, Christmas motif with the napkin decoupaged on instead of the Italian paper. Because I'm going to use this Italian paper. I'm going to decoupage it on there. Oh, I should do that while we're talking, huh? So I would love to, if you want to comment. Now remember, you have to comment. You know, I need the likes too, because I need the interaction for my channel. But if you don't comment, you don't get entered into the drawing, because I don't know whose name to put in for the drawing. So you got to make sure that you comment, not just hit the like button. Okay. So comment and tell me what some of your family traditions are. I love hearing different people's family tradition. We have the Belen, which is the nativity set. And there's a guy, I forget what he's called in Catalan, but it's they have this one figure in the Catalan culture that a lot of them look like Donald Trump, but they can be other people too, that is squatting and taking a poop. And he's the crapper guy that is in, they hide him in the nativity scene somewhere. And their nativity scenes are elaborate. It's not just Mary, Jesus, and Joseph. It's got the wise men and the camel and the elephant and the horse and the angel and all the animals, the lambs and the sheep and the goats and the, you know, everything, the bread baker and the washerwoman and all that stuff. So they have these big elaborate scenes, and then they hide this guy who's squatting and crapping somewhere. And it's just a funny, you know, tradition in the Catalan culture. So the very first time we spent Christmas with my husband, he joined a Catalan society here in the Bay Area, the San Francisco Bay Area. And so we went to this party, and he's telling my daughter, she's 7 at the time, right? So she's like, Pascual, do you guys have Santa in Spain? And he says, no, we don't have Santa. And he says, we have 3 wise men who bring gifts to the baby Jesus, and they bring gifts to children in Spain. He says, but we also in Barcelona have this log called Cagatillo, and he poops out presents for you on Christmas morning. And then she goes, well, do you guys have Thanksgiving? No. Do you have 4th of July? No. Do you have St. Patrick's Day? No. Do you have Valentine's Day? No. So they're going through all this stuff, right? So then we go to the party, and she sees the whole Cagatillo thing. They sing this song, which basically translates to Uncle Crap us out a present and we'll hit you harder. And they sing this song, and they hit the log with a stick. And then the parents, you know, pull the present out from under the blanket and give it to the kids. So she gets her present from the pooping log, and we're in the car on the drive home, and he says, did you enjoy that, Kaylee? And she goes, well, yeah, it was kind of weird, but let me get something straight. And he goes, yeah. And she says, you don't have the Easter Bunny, you don't have 4th of July, you don't have Thanksgiving, you don't have Santa Claus, you don't have the Tooth Fairy, all you guys have are the 3 wise guys and the present pooping log. He starts cracking up. He goes, yeah, that's it, Kaylee. That's all we have. And she says, man, you're lucky you moved here. We're introducing you to all kinds of new things. So she was, like I said, she was my literal K, that girl. So something that you could make on a larger scale and put with a belly band in your journal. You could, you know, tuck it in a tuck spot or something, or you could glue it down, you know, to one side of your journal and have it come out like that, and put ties on both sides so that the ties come around and tie right here, you know, and come out like that. So there's different ways that you could utilize these in junk journals if you wanted to. Okay, just popping on here for a quick second to just show you, this is the one that I'm giving away in the giveaway. So I finished mine. I have to put my photos in it. It's a little thick and cardboardy because there's so much paper. So I did one layer of the newspaper or paper bag here, and then I covered it with fabric so it would be a little thinner. And then you can glue your photos and everything else that you want down on there. And it puts a couple of extras. And then I stitched everything down. Okay? And it says, he was chubby and plump, a right jolly old elf, and I laughed when I saw him in spite of myself. Love The Night Before Christmas. We always read it. My kids used to read it to my kids on Christmas Eve every year. And so this makes a cute little, now I'm not going to put a little tie on it because I could not get my hole punch to go through all those layers of fabric and stuff. I'm going to leave it the way it is, but you can figure out some way to make a little hanger for it if you wanted to hang it on your tree, or, you know, tuck it. It's a little fat to put in a journal, but it's still a really cute little, you know, little keepsake gift that you can give to a family member of, I'm going to do, you know, Christmas photos of my kids through the years and give them to them. I think it's sweet. All right. Thanks a lot for being here on my emotional roller coaster of a day. I really appreciate it. Don't forget to comment. Thanks for stopping by. Have a great day.